Hello everybody, welcome back to the Chensor Dynasty here on twitch.tv/jchensor. My name is James Chen, and we are here for the AskJCHENSOR section where you can ask me any questions you want. I can choose whether I answer them or not. That is the power that I have. But if you do want to ask me any sort of questions, make sure you type in @jchensor in the chat or use that weird highlight my message thing with the channel points. Thank you, Night Slash. I appreciate that very much. Yes, I do have new emotes here for those of you who haven't been back in a little bit. I've got nuts and dude, Gutex staring at nuts is kind of amazing at this point. That's awesome. Yeah, that's right. Instant Riot. New glasses, new chairs, new emotes. Try my best. Try my best. And shout outs to everybody in the chat that I see here, especially those of you from Sajam's channel. Shout outs to King Vasuki, Lord Gandalf, Hastia, Knight Slash, Trotsky DM. Oh, look at this. Oh, yes, this chair is very comfortable. Good lumbar support. For those of you new to my stream, this is my baby girl Jasmine over here. Hi, Jasmine. Look at this cat. Isn't she adorable? Adorable kid. Oh, dang. That works very well, Iowa the boat. That works super well. In case you guys are new to Teppen a little bit, you probably want to give Iowa the boat a follow on Twitch as well, streaming lots of awesome Teppen content. One of the best players just recently got into top 20 rank at Teppen, which is just wild to me. I don't even understand how that works. So let's answer some of these questions here. Thoughts on the Spawn trailer? Very impressive. I really like the way Joker and Spawn look. I feel like that they are done a lot better than a lot of the other characters in terms of NRS animations. Still don't think they're quite dynamic enough. But the thing about it is, if they were more dynamic, they wouldn't fit in with everybody else. So I don't think you have any choice but to leave them the way they are. But the character looks pretty interesting. We'll have to wait and see how many of those crazy abilities that they showed off are actually going to be in tournament variations, because we have no idea if they're going to be allowable or not in tournaments, like him turning invisible, just like how none of Shang Tsung's ninjas were actually usable in tournaments, which was actually kind of sad. Do you think learning Guilty Gear Xrd will help me prepare for Strive, or should I try out more grounded games? Bobo Gaijin, it will actually help you because it'll give you an idea of what a lot of the characters do. Although the system has changed, a lot of the things the characters do are going to be very similar. Like, for example, Soul wants to get you with command throws in Guilty Gear Xrd. It's just that when he gets you, he has to manually do a combo, whereas in Strive, he just does a crap ton of damage off of the throw automatically. So, you know, May is still going to be she's riding on dolphins. Potemkin is still, Potemkin is still going to be able to do hammer fall cancels. Faust is still going to be able to try to throw items and do random stuff at you. So a lot of the characters are going to be very similar. The archetypes of what they want to do are going to be similar. So I think that's going to be useful to you, especially if you can find Xrd at a discount. I think that works. What the heck? Did Nathan just eat a bunch of nuts? That is amazing. Nathan just ate a bunch of nuts. Okay. N Wolfwood asks myself about the delay rollback netcode discussion. I mean, in my opinion, there's not really a discussion, Wolfwood. It's really just about putting rollback netcode into everything. And that needs to happen like now, because one of the things that makes me sad is even the people who really want to play Samurai Showdown, who love Samurai Showdown, aren't even playing it online. So the thing about it is, when you have games where the scenes are not large enough, like if you have scenes that aren't as big as, say, Tekken or Street Fighter, or even something like Dragon Ball FighterZ. I don't even know how Dragon Ball FighterZ matchmaking is going these days, if you can find matches quickly or not. But if you're something like Guilty Gear or BlazBlue or BB Tag, you have this very self-perpetuating kind of really awful loop because everyone goes and tries to play online, and then they don't really, then the pros don't like the netcode, so they don't play on there, so nobody ends up on there, and only everybody plays on lobbies, and so when you go on ranked, you don't match with anybody, so nobody's playing on ranked, and so it kind of kills the online community, because some people aren't going to lobbies to do, they just go to ranked. Like, if everybody kept playing ranked and everyone could keep getting matches, that would be good, but the problem is you have bad netcode, so nobody wants to play on ranked, and so nobody plays on ranked, and then, you know, it's this really awful kind of catch-22, this really bad cyclical loop that kind of destroys itself. And so Samurai Showdown is seeing this right now, where nobody can find any matches online because nobody really wants to play online, and because they can't play online, they can't practice, so a lot of people are not actually playing the game that much anymore because they don't have a local scene for it. Rollback netcode is so essential for fighting games. Having fighting games with good netcode does so much to keep your scene alive than so many other things in the game. So I really do hope that a lot of people start realizing that, and I've heard rumors and rumblings that all the responses in the US about rollback netcode for Guilty Gear Strive, you know, at Frosty Faustings and at Arc Revo Worlds, you know, has really resonated, and it's something that they're looking into. Now, the thing about it is, what a lot of people don't understand is that rollback netcode is not easy to implement, and if Guilty Gear Strive is already so far along in development that putting in rollback netcode may delay the release or can actually cause problems, don't stand on my PS4, kitty. Don't stand on my PS4, kitty. Ugh. That could delay the game, then you have to be worried, because it's not just as simple as delaying a game. Now you got to talk to the company and be like, hey, we can't release this game because we're trying to add this feature, and it's going to push it back to the next fiscal year, or it's going to move it past this quarter, so this quarter is going to look weak, so we can't do that. No, don't do that. You know, forget rollback netcode. It works fine in Japan. And then what about the, you know, you've got so many discussions to go through, and it's not that easy. So, you know, a lot of people can sit there and say, oh, just delay it, no problem, why not? But it's never that easy. It's never that simple. When you've worked at a company before, when you've seen the kind of politics that go behind companies, nothing is ever that simple. Nobody at a company can make a decision of that level, even a decision as, hey, let's add this character into the game. Almost nobody can really make those kind of decisions without having it to roll up and getting approval and budgets and all these things like that. It's the business world is a wild place. Is a wild place. But obviously, for a lot of us, we really need to have that netcode work. We really need to have that netcode work. Otherwise, we're in a bad situation. Lord Gandalf asks, are there game mechanics in fighting games that you want to see explored that haven't been in a fighting game yet? Yes, Lord Gandalf. Although some games have come close to doing some of the stuff that I've wanted to implement if I made a fighting game. Not even necessarily a mechanic, but just the way that a game works. But I don't want to talk about that publicly because I don't want anyone stealing my ideas. And so, but, you know, there are a lot of, I mean, that's the nice thing about fighting games, though, is that there are an infinite number of mechanics that people haven't thought of yet that you can put in fighting games and explore with. There's so many cool options, and, you know, the sky's the limit for fighting games. So, is there any specific mechanic that I'm not going to implement in my own fighting game if I ever made one, that I could actually talk about publicly that I would like to see that hasn't ever been in a fighting game before? Nothing that I can think of right now. KOFXV have rollback? Nobody knows yet. We don't know anything about the game outside of the fact that it is being worked on. That's the only thing that was there. And see, Zygon, like the SFxT, the Street Fighter Cross Tekken Gems idea, was a terrible idea, because it was an interesting idea implemented very poorly, and it was pay to win. If there was a way that it could be designed so that, you know, every combination of 3 gems produced a unique 3-digit number, then you could or just like something that you could easily just type in, then that would be it. Then you could just, shoo, there you go, here we go, here's my gems, you know, pick your character, type in your number, and there's your gems. But the problem is there was no way to do that, and you don't want everyone sitting scrolling through hundreds of gems going, here's my gem. You think tournaments took long enough right now? I mean, jeez. And like I said, there were gems that were clearly better than other gems that just cost money. And so you had to buy some gems to get more powerful, and that was not good. That is was really bad. So gems could be a good idea, just needs to be implemented properly. We've already seen this problem rearing its head in Injustice 2 and in MKX. They both do the variations thing. There's all these extra special moves and everything like that you could add onto characters. You know, like Captain Cold got that thing where he could like stand on an ice platform in the air, which was really sick, which wasn't actually an official special move that he could use in tournaments. But that's because if we opened up all the variations, it would take too long in tournaments to actually select characters. And not only that, you would have to learn an infinite amount of matchups, and fighting games are hard enough already to learn as they are. So, you know, we have to be careful of those kind of things. Balance-wise, having things like gems and costume changes that affect the way the characters play, you know, balance-wise, we end up in just a giant quagmire of craziness that, you know, this one gem could make this character too powerful, but that gem could also be the only way to make this character competitive. So you nerf this gem, and now this character sucks again, and so you try to, like, it's such a delicate balancing issue, whereas what we have right now with just characters as they are, with at max maybe 3 isms, a few grooves, or different ultras, or different variations, is much more manageable. Much more manageable. Yep, that's what they call me. They call me Jim. My cat is doing this again. So, Granblue Fantasy versus title screen, just sitting there. You guys can't see it here, but there are birds flying on the screen. And, or it's like dust particles. No, there's not birds flying. There's like little feathers and dust flying across the screen, and Jasmine's attacking them right now. So let's see, an SNK dev did an interview recently, and he said they will take into consideration the good feedback they got from the Garou netcode update. I mean, they had better take some feedback from that, because as soon as Garou got that netcode update, dude, it just like skyrocketed in sales and Steam, and then everyone started playing it, and now like people are playing it again. It kind of had like a mini rebirth. It's such a great thing for it, and such a boon for that game. And people have to realize how valuable it was. Yeah, Stones and Infinite were cool. Those were more like an extra character, or just like a permanent assist, you might want to think of it. Character variations is a cool idea. It does make it a little bit harder to learn Peter 0611, and then as well, usually one of them becomes clearly dominant over the others. I mean, I know in the MK Final Combat that we saw yesterday, one person actually used first round KO Jacqui Briggs, but other than that, everyone was just using upgraded Jacqui all day, because upgraded Jacqui was clearly better than the other ones. Because, oh man, upgraded Jacqui was ridiculous. How did I enjoy commentating Granblue versus Granblue Fantasy versus? I really enjoy it. I really enjoy commentating the game, and having it be a good, like, I always call it, like, at this point in time, I kind of think of it as the stepping stone between Street Fighter V and Unist. So it goes Street Fighter V, Granblue, Unist, and then Unist leads you into some more of the other anime games like Guilty Gear, and that's where you start getting into BB Tag, Blaze Blue, and then BB Tag, you know, kind of in that order. Maybe even more, like, you could probably say it's like Street Fighter, then Unist, then Granblue, then Unist, then maybe Dragon Ball, then Guilty Gear, maybe then Blaze Blue, something like that. But I really like that. I really enjoyed commentating it. And honestly, for those of you who watched the event, I really felt like Jeremy and I did a really, really good job. It was one of those times that after I finished commentating it, I felt really good about myself. Like, I felt like we commentated it really well. I felt like I struck a really nice balance between trying to be catering to people who know fighting games and people who didn't know fighting games. I felt like, and I had a lot of fun, and I think the characters are interesting enough. I think the matchups are really different enough that it creates a lot of different style matchups as well. So again, not only am I really enjoying Granblue Fantasy Versus, but I'm really enjoying, you know, commentating it as well. A lot of fun stuff there. But I do like, yeah, Baby Spring Mix, I kind of agree with that too. I do like the ability to have yourself be able to tweak characters in small ways to create this kind of change in them. So I like the idea of having 2 different Ultras and 2 different V-skills especially. The 2 different V-skills I think was more important than the 2 different Ultras, because I really feel like having the multiple V-skills really opened up characters a lot better than having 2 different V-triggers. So I'm really glad that they finally added the 2 V-skills. I feel like it took a little too long to get to that point, but I know I've said this a million times. For those of you who are new to this channel, I really think Street Fighter V is in a freaking wonderful place right now, and I think it's just, it's so, it's where it should have been at the beginning. I mean, if the game came out kind of like this, you know, with characters like Lucia and Poison in it right from the get-go that have these crazy great designs, and, you know, with the double V skills and really robust kind of arcade mode, man, it could have been such a different story. Could have been such a different story. Yeah, Granblue Fantasy Versus doesn't have that kind of thing where the characters can be slightly changed in any way, but I feel like there's enough in the game to really create different styles that people will use the same characters in very different ways. The characters have enough varieties built into them that I really like the game so far. I really like the way that the game plays out, and it's the EX mechanic is very fascinating as well, which we'll get into once I get into the Granblue Fantasy Versus beginner stuff. So yeah, CE, yeah, it really is one of the best Street Fighter games right now. It's really fun. Now, you know, obviously Street Fighter V still has its weaknesses. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that, you know, just by adding a second V skill and these cool characters that all of the weaknesses that I've perceived in the game are just magically gone. There's definitely still a lot of weaknesses in the game, such as, you know, not giving players enough ways to feel themselves, relying a little bit too much on frame data and the Street Fighter V RPS, and things like that. But for the most part, it's addressed a lot of those things and it's gotten a lot stronger. Yeah, the tour's being delayed is a bummer right now, Didong man. Is this where I should be if I'm trying to learn Granblue? Yes, Frieza Saga. I will definitely be doing that in a very short time. I'm just talking with the chat, hanging out, answering questions right now, but I'm going to jump over into the beginner system mechanics of Granblue Fantasy Versus very soon. In the meantime, you could say hello to my cat, Jasmine. Hi, Jasmine. Hi, Jasmine. Smile for the... Oh, no, never mind. I'm not going to say that. Be a cute kitty. Okay. Hello, Frieza Saga. What's up? R. Maurera. How you doing? How you doing? Yes, I love my cats. Yes, I'm obsessed with my cats. If you've owned cats, you will understand. In any case, I am going to go ahead and call the AskJCHENSOR section. I know it's very short this time, but intentionally so. I'm going to switch over to the Granblue Fantasy Versus beginner stuff. It's going to be an interesting stream. I'm going to be doing the stream as if I'm talking to YouTube audiences, because I'm going to post it all on YouTube and everything. So I may not directly answer your questions right away. I will have the chat on there though, because they do ask a lot of very valuable questions a lot of the time. So I will have the chat on while we're doing this. Choi Sauce, my first main was Luane. I'm thinking of switching to Zeta or Narmaya, and also considering Matera as well, after talking with Sejam for a bit about character choice. Haven't found the one character that quite gels with me just yet. But we'll see. I mean, I really enjoy Lowain. I really like him a lot. Unfortunately, he's just not particularly strong. He can win, don't get me wrong, but the stuff that he can do to win, most other characters can also do, as well as do a lot more than what Lowain can do. And before anybody says Iggy is broken and a free win, Iggy is very avoidable, very easily dodged, and the human pyramid is actually the better choice of using your meter than Iggy. And so it turns out that that's not a free win, and you need a lot of... he needs a lot more. Lowain definitely needs a lot more, so... Okay guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run back to the title screen, switch the category, switch the title over here, switch the game and everything like that, get a brand new local recording started so I can set everything up for the Granblue Fantasy Versus beginner guide. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, look for it here on our channel at youtube.com/UltraChenTV so that you can see, so you can learn all about Granblue Fantasy Versus as well. And then in the chat below, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and in the chat below let me know what kind of game mechanic you would like to see introduced into a fighting game that hasn't been introduced yet. And if you guys are here on Twitch and you enjoy these conversations and this kind of discussion with me, feel free to follow the channel and subscribe, drop the gift sub, etc, etc. You can see right here I have a goal to reach 350 subs by July. I have been killing it on the goals recently and on the subs, so I thank everybody for supporting me. The goal is to try to get to 500 by the end of the year, and it seems like I'm on pace to surpass that. And if that happens, that can help a lot, especially this year with a lot of the events being canceled, which is tough for commentator life, but you know, I'm gonna see if I can try to make it work. So thank you guys for tuning in on YouTube. As I said, make sure you like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Here on Twitch, don't go anywhere. The Granblue Fantasy Versus beginner system mechanics discussion is about to start. Stay tuned.